Well, welcome to our brand new webisode. This is on pop-up steppers. These has 8 collections. Now you see 4 right here, but I'm going to show you the other 4. And Heidi has done some very fun things just like this. So we'll get in close so you can really see. Folds flat, but the stepper part is this part in the front. And as you can see, isn't that gorgeous? And that's on the front of a card that even has a message on the back of it. Handmade by you. So there we go. Will you please come play with us? Well, before we get into Heidi's creations, let me just show you the 8 kits. Now they're all together in one package, so you get just a variety of things. This is Do-It-Yourself Hero, DIY Hero. And this is Tweet Wishes, so you can see the bird. This is Mermaid Kingdom. There's a sweet little mermaid, as you would think. And this is a Perfect Picnic. Now I'm going to ask Jeanette to focus in down here because that gives you an image of what the card could look like. So hopefully you can see that. So there's the DIY. Here is the Sweet Tweets. This is the Little Mermaid. And here is the Perfect Picnic with all those flowers. Now that's 4 of them. Let me show you the ones that Heidi has chosen. So she has chosen Beautiful Butterflies, the card I just showed you. Now they all have this foiled die cut piece that you can see, and there are directions on the back of this insert, and that's really helpful. And then also you get an envelope with each one. So that works out perfectly. So add Beautiful Butterflies to the collection. You can also add Time to Celebrate. This is really pretty. This is very fun. This is Pawty, P-A-W-T-Y. Time, Party Time. And the last one is this, which is Always and Forever with the swans. So that's what we have, and we're going to get into the first project. And this is really, Heidi has done kind of the basic, really just following what is written on the directions on the back of the insert. So you can see that everything is on one sheet. And let me just pop this a little bit so you can kind of see that. Everything just pops out just so easily, just like everything in Hunkydory. So this piece is the card. This is the back. Remember where I said it's handmade for you. This is the front that you saw. And then it has these 2 pieces. Now they are just scored. They also have some light lettering, and one says A and one says B1 and B2. So what happens, I'm going to turn this around, and you can see B1 is right here and B2 is right here. So those little tabs are going to get foiled and attached right onto that kind of light colored area. So B1, B2, A, I'm going to turn it around again. There's A right here. And again, that's always the flap, and it's going to get attached. Now there's also flaps at the top, and those are also going to get attached. So let me just walk you through this. So step 1 is going to be take your card, pop it out, and just fold on the score lines. So you're going to do first a valley fold and then a mountain fold. So that's just going to be right there. They recommend using a good adhesive. We recommend extra sticky tape. This is the 1/4 inch. It's just going to hold everything in place perfectly. So that A is going to go down first. And so there is the piece that attaches to the bottom. And then these little pieces also attach. And they're just going to fall right in place against the card itself. Now the B's are right down here, so you can see. And then there are extra pieces of art. So let me just walk you through that. So these 2, all of these are all extra. What can you do with those? Well, Heidi has chosen to attach them over the matching art with foam tape. So it's just going to give a bit of dimension. And that works, of course, so nicely. In fact, that one flower, I don't know if you noticed, but it was flat on one edge. There it is. Well, it goes right here to be against the edge of the card. So everything is perfectly designed as you would expect from Hunkydory. Then Heidi added some bling because the foiling just wasn't enough. And she added our silver jewel dazzles, and you can see them in the center of the butterflies and the flowers. Now, Heidi did not put anything on the inside, but I think it would be so easy just to take one of these pieces, instead of foam taping it on the front, put it on the back. You've got a nice amount of room to write your message, or you can always use our dazzles, script greetings, or whatever you like. And that's just what the card looks like. So this is, the title is a pop-up stepper card. So you can see it's going to lay flat to mail, and then it's going to pop up, and these are the steppers. There you go. So that all makes sense now? Why, yes, it does, Paulette. Okay, so that's our first one. Oh, measurements, they are about 4 by 5 inches, just slightly shy of that. And like I said, you get the envelope in each of the packages. Okay, so this is the basic way, according to the directions. You can do all of them that way, but Heidi has some other ideas. And here is her first one. And look at this. Let me get it on a white background so you can really see it. And this is the time to celebrate. And you can see, now she did have to add a couple of things. And let me show you. So she used a cutting die. This is the circular step card cutting die. And it has this one piece that's going to make the structure. And she die cut it because there's not enough room on this sheet, of course, to do that die cutting. So she used the black Mary cardstock, which is the shiny stuff in black. And so that became her card base, okay? Now, to decorate it with these pieces, and that way you can get the foiling, very clever in that let me open up this package so you can see the die. And she used the whole piece, of course, on the black Mary, but then she used part of the die. Okay, just a moment. There's a couple of packages, a couple of pieces to this package. Okay, so here is the die. So she wanted to use these two pieces. This makes the card. And what she did was to take this piece out, cut it in the middle, and cut off the stepper parts. So she had these two pieces. And she laid each one onto the die, just right up to that score line. So the one with the stars goes on one side, the one with the stripes goes on the other. She die cut it again. Now she wasn't trying to cut the whole piece, but she just wanted to get that curve in there, okay? So in doing that, then she was able, let me get that white back there. She was able to attach the stars. Now do you see them sparkling there in the back? And the stripe in the back. So you get that curve just effortlessly by just going right through with the cutting die. So that was nice. Now, she likes, again, to use extra sticky tape in attaching those, so that's certainly your preference. Now, in this particular set, you can see the arch of balloons. Let's see, let me lift them up a little bit. Well, I guess you can really see them on the card. Okay, so there is this die cut piece with that arch. So she has attached that. And notice it can go up above the card itself, and that works perfectly. Then there is this collection of the bottle, as well as glasses and a party hat. And those she foam taped on top of the balloon arch. Then there are a bunch of stars. In fact, you can see them here. Those are all individual pieces. And she simply foam taped them onto the steps of this circular step card. And then on the inside, she die cut it again on the gold stars holographic, and it just looks just like that, just sparkly. And isn't that a perfect companion to this, this card with all of those colors? So just again, ran it through, but just the inside of the card, and added more of those foil die cuts and more of the stars. And then she did add this time the gold jewel dazzles. She did silver ones to begin with. These are gold. And she's placed them on the balloons, on the stars. And then there are the balloons. In fact, I thought it was fun. So this balloon, she just used a pen to just draw that, that kind of ribbon going up to the balloon. There you go. You can see that. And I'm not sure, I guess there weren't any of the others. Okay, so this is a stepper card now. This will fit into, let's see, does it, it fits into the card that's provided. Well, hot diggity, so that worked beautifully. Okay, that is our second card. Now our third one is going to be from the paw tea time. I really don't like saying that. Okay. And it is going to be this absolutely cute little puppy. Look at that sweet little face. Okay, once again, she's going to do something different. So these are the instructions. I'm going to tuck those away and let me show you the card. Here it is. Isn't that cute? And this is done using our 3D frame. Now the 3D frame has several pieces in there. They just fold to make this card, so it's just very easy. In fact, I'm kind of wondering if there's a folded one in here. Let me see. Well, there used to be. Okay, so you're going to get, this one has 3 cards in 3 envelopes. And the first piece, this is the card base. And everything is scored, so all you do is fold along the score lines. You will probably want to take a bone folder and just reinforce and burnish those score lines. So you go down and then making a mountain and then making a valley. Fold right here. And you're going to do that on all 4 sides because that's going to make your frame. And it's going to look a little unfinished, but we have a cure for that in another piece that's included in the package for all 3 of the cards. And by the way, the card envelopes are also included in the packages of die cut cards. So just folding those, just super, super easy. And that's going to make your 3D frame. So you can see how that's set back. So what she did is she needed some solid colors. So she went to the tulips and butterflies cardstock, and you can see just all the colors that are there, and used that with the pink and covered that card front. So you can just place the frame onto the back of the solid and trace around it and cut it out. So that just works nicely, and then glue it to the card front. For this inside piece, she used the back of her card, and all she did was to cover the square that's included, and then she just pushes that in to that frame and also secures it with some tape. So, or some adhesive, any kind of adhesive you want. So we're just going to pop that in and let it rest there. And when you have the it covered with the paper, it's going to be nice and sturdy. Now what it does, well, let me finish this first part. Okay, so now we are ready for our little embellishing. And what she took was this banner and let it go over the top of the frame. And she put this puppy, and then she added the foam taped on the glasses, and he's kind of in the middle. Also added this piece. Okay, this piece right here. See where it's B? And it's got all of these. Well, she trimmed off those tabs and trimmed off the bottom tab and those tabs also, that tan tab. And then to place these right along here. And then there are some extra pieces. So there's that present with the ball right there. And there is the cupcake as well as the dog bone. There's another dog bone, and foam tape them on top. So all of those work nicely. So you've got the one piece that is solid that's going to get glued across the frame, and then you can foam tape off the matching art. So that worked nicely. And she did add also the gold jewel dazzles that she did in the last card, because they just added a festive touch. Now inside her card, remember I said there was something inside that didn't look too good? Well, it's this piece. Fortunately, you are given another piece to cover it up, so everything looks very tidy and professional. And what she has done is she has covered that with the same cardstock that she used on the front. And then here, she has used the front of the card, that little guy right there, and trimmed it down. You'll see the measurements in the directions. The directions are down below. So we've got this piece, and she did mat it on this green from the solid cardstock. And then this little puppy is this piece. This is the A piece. She cut it out. She did trim off these 2 tabs, but she left this piece, folded it, and put the extra sticky tape at the bottom. And that way he can just pop right up. Works really nice. Now the words that are there are happy birthday wish. They are from the card Inside Outside Dazzles, and this is the primary colors, yes, because you're going to get obviously the yellow, blue, you're going to get all sorts of colors there. This is quite a favorite of everyone's. And then also the dazzles, you can see them on his hat, you can see it on the banner, and back below, and of course on the front of the card. All nicely done. So it's nice to have those other options, don't you think? You can do just what the directions say, which is always a winner, but it's nice to have some other options. Speaking of other options, I have one more for you, and this, as I said before, is the Always and Forever. So we're going to have swans, and swans mate for life, and that's why this is called Always and Forever. And here is the card that Heidi did. And notice this one has acetate on the front, and there's the inside, and there's back. So she did use a one of our regular cards to begin with, and then she trimmed it down. Okay, but let's look at what she's going to do, because you just never know with this woman. We're going to take the card, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut this part off, the front of the card off, and glue it to the card front, okay? Then we're not going to glue it to the card yet, so it's still just all by itself. Then she took a piece of acetate. Now I have done the sample out of green just so you could really see it. And this card is 4.5 inches long. So our piece of acetate is going to get cut to 5 inches by 4.5. Then you're going to go on each side and score in 1/2 inch, okay? So it's going to end up being 4 inches by 4.5, which is the size of the card front. Now, what she did is, so she's got her card base, which is just that piece. Then she's going to take the swan, which is the A part, and going to foam tape that, going to cut off the tab and foam tape that onto the card front. So you can see that that swan is foam taped in place. Now we're going to take the acetate and put our extra sticky tape on the back sides of those 2 flaps and attach them to the back of that card front. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So this is just going to wrap around, but you first want to have your swan foam taped in place, because that's going to be tricky to do underneath the acetate. So that gets glued in place, or foam tape, or excuse me, taped in place. Then she took this part that is called B, trimmed off the tab, trimmed off those tabs, and she attached it to the front of that acetate. Again, you can just use the extra sticky tape to do that. And then, as always, there are extra pieces, so you can foam tape those to the matching art, so you get a little depth into your flowers, into the lily pads. She did use her bone folder, excuse me, she did use her bow maker to tie a bow, and this is out of the 1/8 inch ribbon set. So you can do a lot of those little bows with this package. And she also used, I forgot to tell you, the scoreboard to line up her acetate. In fact, that's exactly what I did when I was making this sample, and use the bone folder and just measure it at 5 inches, or excuse me, at 1/2 inch and at 1/2 inch. Perfect, just makes it easy. And you don't lose the bone folder, which is really a nice benefit. Okay, that's the card front. The card inside, well, I thought this was really good. She used this part and showed it, but she didn't want the handmade for you showing because that didn't kind of make any sense on the front, on the inside of the card. So she went back and used one of the areas that she hadn't used. So remember the card front got cut? Well, then she used this piece and just glued it on the inside. And then again, you have all of those extra pieces, so she made this little arch. And then she used Keeping You in My Heart, which is also part of, I believe, the inside-outside dazzles. So that just worked nicely. Another little bow, and you are good to go. Again, it will fit in the envelope that is provided. So lots of ideas with these 8 sheets. They are in one package, so you're going to have lots of different looks and feels, which is really nice, and that will take really good care of you. Okay, you will have some very special cards. I do want to share that some friends of mine have told me that they are really getting noticed for having some wonderful cards as they share them with their friends and send them out. So, you know, why not make someone else's day is always a good thing to do. Okay. There is a money saver, of course. It is on the right-hand side of the screen, so that will take care of you. And as I said, this is one collection of all 8, so that will work. There are the instructions down below, so feel free to take a look and print them off if you want to. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube, we say hi. We hope that you will subscribe because that boosts our rating. And then head on over to paperwishes.com. This is a special collection that you can only get here at Paper Wishes. Very often we have unique, exclusive items. This happens to be one of them. And I would hope that you would take advantage of the money saver if this interests you. We have about 26 webisodes a month. Yes, that's about once a day. So we're happy to provide these products with you. We're happy to have you purchase them because that keeps us going. But we also love giving you ideas. I want to thank Heidi for doing such a wonderful job. And I want to thank you especially for being part of our Paper Wishes family. Actually, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.